Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much, not much.
I
I
hope
am.
y'all can hear me because I can barely hear you guys.
Can you barely hear us?
Yes, I can barely hear y'all. Technical difficulties, y'all. We are getting it together. But happy Thursday. I know it's not Friday, but what's going on? What's going on? We are so glad to see you guys. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube
Yes,
page. Please, by all means, push that share button because we have some wonderful information for you tonight. Darnell, how you doing?
I am doing great. Today is Thursday. I'm ready to hit the road on tomorrow. And I promise you, if I did not have training, that I will be leaving out tonight. I'm telling you, I am ready to see you, my baby sister. Hey,
You know I'm excited, baby. You know I'm excited. It feel like it's been forever. It ain't been that long, but it
nah,
feels like it's been forever since I seen you guys. And y'all, it's like it's been forever since I've been on this live.
I know. Even though it was just last, was it last week? No, that was
I
me and
wasn't here
Shirley.
last week. That
That's
was
right.
you
That's right.
and Miss
That's right.
Carter, and y'all did an awesome job. By the way, I peeked at y'all while I was in church.
Yeah. Oh, we look. We already got somebody making little comments. Brandy Young said, "Who told you could look so sharp, Joe?" What's up, Brandy?
What's going on, y'all? I'm trying to get my computer up. Y'all just let the Lord use y'all, okay?
Yeah, we have some technical difficulties, and I tell you, I had to play around with my stuff for a whole hour because, as everybody know, right now I use my computer for different things, so I'm taking things apart, and sometimes it messes with the sound. So I played with it today to make sure everything was straight. But before we get started, I would like to say that thank you all for joining in. We do appreciate your support, and I know this is a very unusual day for us to come on, but we're doing freestyle, free talk Friday on a Thursday. This is not our usual day. And so, look, we do appreciate you all just jumping on at an unusual day, an unusual time. So, before we say that, we would like to say this right here that if you would like to donate, you can donate to us at Rare Image, dollar sign Rare Image number 26, Rare Image number 26. If you have any questions about our radio station, our packages on there, email us and we can send you some information about that. And look, we make sure you get it. And I'm telling you, this is a good place to, in the word church world, to sow into. Yes, we want you to sow into this ministry here.
Come on
That's
and
what we want you to do.
so.
Yes, so yeah, if you want to give to us, it's good
And for
that
the
you
ones
all
that
here.
don't go to church, sponsor. We will take
Sponsor,
it off.
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, yes. Oh, look, we on tonight we have a wonderful guest, a wonderful guest. As you all know, that Jonisha is going to do what? Tell us, Jonisha.
I can't hear. What did you
You can't
say?
hear. Oh my God! I tell you
I'm
what.
barely hearing. I think you said, what will I be doing?
Okay, yeah. Tell our viewers what
Okay.
you are about to do this weekend.
All right, all right. So I've had the privilege and the opportunity to do the Apollo tour. Y'all know, you guys, I did a little live for y'all to pray for me because my nerves is up the wall. It's been a long time since I did things like this, but y'all do know that I have been on a journey, not just with my weight loss, but just regaining some things that I used to have. So I had the privilege of auditioning for the Apollo tour. And of course, I made it to the second round. And I had the honor of meeting the man that started this tour. and he was such an awesome person to meet. And so me and my brother talked. I was like, we got to have him on the show. I just think he got
Yeah.
some wisdom just to release, to the people, and then to talk about what he's doing, what his vision is for this tour. So by all means, please, you guys, put your hands together, show us some love in the chat for Mr. CJ Newber.
Mr. CJ Newber. Let me tell you a little about him. He is the senior producer to the Road to Apollo and the Road to New York talent competition. This man is well versed, well gifted, and our backstage conversation was awesome. So I know you're going to enjoy him on this platform. So let's welcome Mr. CJ Newbern.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Doing
Yeah.
wonderful.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be a part of this, and I
Entrepreneur.
think what you all are doing is fantastic.
Thank you, man. Hey, look, we want to say thank you for agreeing to come on here and to share your story with us and just to sit down with common country people talking about your life and what you're doing with this talent competition.
Sounds good. So where do you want me to start?
Hey, man, look, tell a little about yourself. Tell us how you got into this business and what is your passion behind it.
Well, I grew up following in the footsteps of my father, Captain Newborn Sr. He was a master's level gilded promoter on the Chitlin circuit. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but
Yeah,
that's
very much so.
so that circuit ran through North Carolina, and my dad would rent these big warehouses, and we'd bring in acts like James Brown and Sammy Davis Jr. and Red Fox, Fats Domino, and they couldn't stay in the hotels because of Jim Crow and segregation. They had not integrated the schools yet, so they would stay at our house, and that was wonderful to meet them. And he would have me supposedly pouring lemonade and Kool-Aid and serving sodas and stuff like that at the shows. But that was not my interest. If he stopped, I bumped into him. So I'd have me a little tablet and I watched him.
Yeah,
And everything he touched turned to gold. He would have these huge shows, but you'd have to have chitlins, fried fish, collard greens. You'd have to have bologna and cheese sandwiches. You'd have to have all of this stuff for them to eat, or they wouldn't come. So that was what my beginning, and I followed through with that. Uh, Going to college, becoming chairman of the concert committee at the University of North Carolina at Wilmington, where I went undergrad at, and having my shows published in Billboard magazine, Matchbox magazine, and doing really good with those type shows. Something that University of Wilmington had never seen, but they didn't know I had that type of experience because I grew up all my life watching my dad promote
yeah.
fights and wrestling events and concerts. So it was second nature to me. And so to make a long story short, I was working at a law school at North Carolina Central University. I was director of development for them. I did strategic planning in 5-year increments and uh, alumni relations, and I was their major fundraiser. And one day, a veteran, one of the attorneys was a veteran. He came to my office. He's like, "Mr. Newborn, you're setting up all these pro bono clinics. What about one for veterans?" And I kind of gave him a coy answer, a little foolish. I was like, well, "What about it?" But at that time, my ignorance was I didn't know what veterans were going through,
Yeah.
and what I found out that year broke my heart. And God, that's his title. His name is Yahweh. Spoke to me, and he said, I want you to do something about that. You're a person who know how to get things done, and I want you to do it. I want you to leave this position and start a veterans treatment center." And I was like, God, Yahweh, am I on candid camera? Is this a joke? You want me to leave a job where I am overpaid and underworked to do a nonprofit? And he said, yes. So you can fight him all you want to, but when he has a designated will for you to do, nothing's going to go right in your life until you do what he wants
That's
you to
true.
do.
That
You
is
see
true.
that for me? So that's what I did. I started what was known as Next Level Veterans Treatment Center. and I started Next Level Adolescent Center, and it just grew. It took off. We had a huge center, probably 100,000 square foot facility, and we were doing all sorts of services. Our core competencies at Next Level, and we're a nationally accredited medical and mental health facility. In this state, we're also a CABO, which stands for Comprehensive Behavioral Healthcare Agency. So we do bomb blast concussions, traumatic brain injury. We do post-traumatic stress disorder, military sexual trauma, and we do suicide prevention. In this area, in about a 7-county area, we service first responders. So if a veteran is having an episode, a psychotic episode, and he's in danger of hurting himself or others, then we're called first to render assistance to the police and talk the veteran down before the police get there. About 99% of the time, we're able to do that. So one day there was some veterans that was in our center, and this center was huge. And they would sing every day. And one of them said to me, well, Mr. Newborn, I've always wanted to go to the Apollo and be on the Apollo. I wanted to audition. And I said, why not? And they were like, oh, man, quit pulling our legs. So I said, no, let's do this. So I contacted the Apollo, and I found out they had a foundation. And I said, well, hey, they got a foundation. I'm going to hit them up for a donation. They were like, a donation? We ain't giving you anything. We're struggling. But let us teach you how to fish. So, I told them, I said, I have guys I want to bring up. I want them to have guaranteed auditions. So they said, this is what we'll do. They said, why don't you hold a competition, and whatever money you make, you keep as a donation from us. We'll let you use our name. And using their name, there's about a $1.6 million licensure that you have to pay to use their name. And they let us use their name as the grand prize.
Wow.
So they waived that for us. You see how Yahweh works things out?
Yes.
Yes.
And so we took veterans in 2012. We took 4. They all made the show, and they were really good. So they said, why don't you do more shows, tour, and bring us the children and the adult champion from each city, and go out and tour. We didn't do exactly what they said in the beginning, because the first time we had held auditions in Durham, North Carolina, we had enough contestants that we did 22 consecutive Sunday nights. And after the first 3 weeks, we sold out every show.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So it sort of took off with that. So we did, the next year, we did 20 consecutive shows. The next year we did 16, and then they kind of slapped us on the head and they said, we told you to tour. You're not helping our brand anywhere by just staying in Durham, bringing people to you. Go out and tour so that we can, expand our brand there. We're trying to brand back up. So then we hit the road, and we found out that the road shows were bigger than the shows we were doing in Durham, because unless there was a major act like Dolly Parton or Beyonce or something like that, when we go to a town, we're the big act that night.
Wow.
And, once again, when Yahweh gives you ideas already blessed, so he blessed it. So we went from that concept to touring, and we tried to level the playing field. There are people out there, and we're star makers. That's what we do. We find talent. It's like with our host here. She came to auditions in Burlington, North Carolina, the African American Cultural Arts and History Center. And that voice she has is golden. It's an anointed voice. We were just blown away. So a lot of times we'll wait until, 2 weeks go by and tell them that they made the show, but not with this young lady that's on this podcast. We told her immediately she made the show. We're like, hey, you in the show. Don't even worry about it. And she's going to be hard to beat. But that's how it came about. So, again, we tried to level the playing field. We pay for the contestants to go to New York. We provide transportation, hotel accommodations. We get them there. And when we come to New York, they're pretty excited to see us. But we come in there, we're throwing punches because we bring very, very good talent. Our children contestants have won the whole thing twice.
Wow.
Wow.
We've had people to get recording contracts. Tyler Perry, people follow us around. Oprah Winfrey Studios, Nickelodeon, Disney, a lot of entities, record labels, movie theaters. It follows around. We got people touring with Tyler Perry in his plays. He still does roadshow plays, but they're looking for talent. and that's what we do. So we're not afraid to go to Greensboro or Burlington, or like Dunn is a historic visit. This is a historic visit for us in Burlington. And this show in Burlington, by far, we've got 16 contestants, but all of the acts are quality. I don't see anybody really getting booed unless they're just some mean-spirited people. But we follow the Apollo culture. If you define culture as the thought of, tried out, preferred way of doing things, then their way is the way that we adopt this tour. We have the live band, the log, the modern day version of Kiki Shepard, and the Sandman. And so if they like the acts, they clap for them. They don't, they boo them off the stage. And so we have, the original Sandman, and we have the one that's called the Executioner as well. So we have two, but the original one will be on the show in Burlington. So it's people love this show. They've seen it on TV. In 2014, I had about 35 people at the Apollo. A lot of those kids and adults had never been there. And it's overwhelming when you go to the Apollo, and that line is like going around each side of the theater, and people are coming there from all over the world: Hong Kong, Tokyo, Russia, the Dominican Republic, Port of Spain, Trinidad, and all states all over the country. It's a very cultural mixed group of people who want to be on the Apollo stage, because if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
That's
So
true.
it's pretty overwhelming. So we had a Jewish guy, walked up to me, and I really thought he was trying to break a line. I was like, go away. But you have to be really careful in life how you treat people, because you don't know who you're meeting.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
This guy that came, he's from Launch TV, Vice President of Acquisitions and Talent Management, and that's part of NBC. And he finally, I said, I'll talk to you, man, but I still didn't know who I was talking to. So he just grabbed me by the arm the second time he came up. He kind of pulled me. And this was a little dude. I'm like, okay, he escaped from a group home up here in New York. And he's he needs to talk to me. I said, maybe I should talk to him. But then you find out who he is, and he said, hey, we've been coming to these shows, and we would like to air these shows. We think what you're doing is amazing. And he said, you all are different than American Idol. You're different than America's Got Talent, X Factor. So you think you can dance, you think you can sing. You're different from Steve Harvey's Little Big Shots. Because what we do, we'll go to a town and we'll hold auditions. And then about 30 to 45 days later, we come back to that town and we do one of our nationally televised shows from that town. Mm-hmm. So our people traditionally outperform the ones who are just in line, because by the time you get to New York, I'm talking to you now. By the time you get to New York, you would have gone through auditions. You would have been on a live competition. You would have been on national TV. So you're not going to be rattled by all those stars that you see in the sidewalk, like Aretha Franklin and Etta James and Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson and all those people who started at the Apollo. Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill got booed at the Apollo.
Wow.
Yeah. Luther Vandross got booed at the Apollo, but that doesn't mean anything,
Yeah.
So our people aren't intimidated by there, and they go there and they do their thing because we have them ready. And that's what this tour is all about, leveling the playing field so that people like your sister here who have great talent, there are people out there who can sing just as good as Beyonce, Michael Jackson, all of them, but they don't get the opportunity. So we're going to level that playing field, and that's what we do. But we do it all in the sake of next level veterans. We use music as a therapy to treat depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. So we have veterans who are timid and won't talk, but when they sing, another whole side of them come out, and you can see it coming from their soul. You can see an angelic presence around them when they're singing. So we've learned from that. We thought giving them all these treatments and therapies and everything like that was what they needed. And our era was, there's what you think is right and what is actually right. Sometimes it's two different things.
Yes,
that's true. Associated with getting mental health. So some of them needed it, but what they needed more was the camaraderie. They needed that free coffee we were giving them, and they needed the horseshoes tournaments that we were doing and the
Yes.
trips. And when they do horseshoes and they cook out, man, you hear the biggest lies ever.
I bet. I bet.
Oh, that's an adventure. But we really love what we do. So uh, we are advocates and lobbyists. We're the lead veteran organization in the country when it comes to the contaminated water issues that happened at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and Mumford Point. Mumford Point was the first Black Marine Corps training facility in the country.
Wow.
But from I'd say 56, 55, they knew there was jet fuel and cleaning solution in the water. The EPA,
Wow.
which was in its infancy at the time, but they did nothing about it. So it affected 17.5 million veterans and their families. And we see the effects in our center of people who have drank that water. We see all the cancers. We see cancers of the tongue, the soft vocal cords, the sternum, the gallbladder, the stomach, the prostate. We see all of these cancers, and they have multiple cancers. So what happened? So we were one of the ones to initiate the class action suit. We have a strong
Wow.
legal team. Um, the case went down to the 11th appellate court. No, the third appellate court in Atlanta, which does not service here in North Carolina. How it got down there, things that make you go, That's a very, very conservative court. It should have went to the 11th appellate circuit court in Virginia, in Richmond, Virginia, which is a liberal court. So President Obama, when he was in office, and the Congress and the Senate, they made reparations, but there's still, we saw just the other day that some of that stuff has been passed, but we got a federal judge down there that's just holding up a lot of stuff. So our focus is on that rascal.
Mhm.
And we lose 57 veterans a day to these cancers.
Wow.
57.
That's
We
a lot.
lose 24 veterans a day to suicide. Now, I don't know about you all, but that's not okay.
No,
It's
it's
not.
It's
not.
not okay. You know what I say to that? Not on my watch.
That's it. That's
So
it.
we're not afraid of the VA. They have a love-hate relationship with us sometimes, but we fight, because as it stands right now, if the veteran died, there's no lineage to their family, so the family
Oh,
gets benefits.
that's
So,
so good.
So
That's so
we're,
good.
we're not putting up with that. And we've sponsored trips to New York, lobby, taken, we organized thousands of veterans to go march on Washington, not like January the 6th.
Okay.
I like how you slid that in there. I like that way.
Yeah, we did it the right way. And when I'm in DC, I go up on Capitol Hill, and they know me. They go, oh, here he comes. But we have a mission, and we have to carry out the mission. Another big problem why we do this, and we use this TV show to talk about veteran issues. And you'll see me do my thing after the first half of the show, when I come back in and acknowledge the veterans and have them to stand. Military sexual trauma is a bad problem. It's called MST for people in the military, especially women. They go in, they expect to have a career, and then you have some upper level officers who may be taking advantage of them, touching them, sexually harassing them, sometimes raping them, and they don't have an outlet, because when they talk about it, they get ostracized.
Mhm.
Who are they going to believe? This private or 4-star general and all his cronies? So when they are talk and let us go at them, we get those rascals.
Mhm.
We get them. They don't want to see us. They don't want to see us, because again, that's one of those situations that's not on my book, not on my watch. So this whole tour is a platform for us to talk about issues. It's a platform for us to get people to the Apollo on that stage. We've put hundreds of people on their stage, and they love our acts. They love our children. They love the acts, because I think our road shows are better than their shows.
Hey.
It is. You'll see. We put cream of the crop on our shows, and we go in little small towns. We go in big cities, and we find the talent. That's what we do. And when we don't hold them back, once we bring them to the Apollo, we turn them over to them. If after they've performed on the Apollo, they want to sign some contracts, we advise them We tell them do not uh, do these contracts before you go to the Apollo because there's going to be more opportunity for you there.
Yeah.
It just is.
Mhm.
So I can't do this by myself. I have to acknowledge people that help. We have a music director, a vocal coach. We have line producers. Our announcer, Mark Lee. Ray Pasco is the technical director. We have a line producers down in Miami, Lily Castro. We have myself. We have a lot of people that makes this thing work. It's a lot of moving parts. So everybody has things that they do to encourage the contestants and to make this thing so when you see it on stage, a lot of work has gone into it for it to be a smooth and successful production. There are a lot of little tricks that goes on prior to getting to this point. It's not just like a high school talent show. This is the real deal. We take them there. We go there, and they all know us. They were like, "Here comes the tour," and people be in line, be like, "What tour?" Stand by, let the tour through. We go in there. You're like, yeah, we'll see y'all on the inside.
Right, right. I
So,
think this whole thing is awesome to me because part of what we desire to do with our platform is to find the guy that nobody would see on a regular basis.
Mhm.
That's what Rare Image was about. To
Right.
see those people that perhaps and for me this was like a full circle for me because for years I was looked over and passed over, and then we decided to do this platform so that others that are like us won't be looked over and passed
Right.
over. And so this whole thing is like full circle for me. I called my brother as soon as I met you, and I said, "Listen, we got to have this guy on our show because there is an infinite wisdom in him that I think like people need to hear, at least people off
Yeah.
our platform need to hear because I don't know, I could just sit and glean like all day. And I'm telling you, I was like, it's been a long time. And when you talked about how your show is different from all other shows, listen, people have been pushing me to go to these different shows, and I'm just like, I don't feel because they judge me on this and judge me on that, and so I had to get my whole mind frame together. But this, I felt totally different about. There was a settling in my spirit when I came in, even though I was still nervous, you guys, and then just the backstory of, hey, I was watching you do this a little more, do that, the whole coaching of everything. Like, people don't do that. Sometimes it's a doggy dog and they just waiting on you to fail and they just let you go on about your business. But the back story of how you do it, and then you being connected with mental health. Me and my brother both have worked in mental health for years
Yeah.
in healthcare.
I still do. I still
Still
do.
do, right?
Yeah.
And I work on
Mutual.
the side where I'm the person that they call for G tubes for people that have cancer, maybe cancer of the throat or the tongue, and I'm supplying them with the things they need for nutrition because they can no longer take it by mouth. And so to hear the wide scope of why you do it, why you started, like, I knew it was bigger than just the Apollo tour. And to hear the full scope of everything, like, I'm honored to even be a part. And I've been
Yeah.
declaring since the beginning, I'm going to New York because I feel like I'm supposed to be connected to you for a long while. Like, I feel like it's going to be a relationship that's developing, and I'm supposed to be a part of something greater than I even know. And that's what we really do encourage on this show, to know that your small piece is a connective piece to something greater, and the bigger
Most definitely.
tapestry is beautiful when you get it all together, but you have to be willing and open to receive.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I want to say this. A lot of times when we and I want to piggyback on what Jonisha said. A lot of time when you get introduced to people such as yourself, you never know their backstory, their whys behind what they do. And to hear your passion is breathtaking. It's definitely beautiful. It's
Mm-hmm.
inspiring, and your yes to Yahweh, to Yeshua, means a whole lot because you're representing and you speaking and you standing for people who feel as though they don't have a voice, they don't have a platform, they don't have nobody to support them, or they're really listening to them. And your yes to God has definitely opened up spaces and portals where people can channel to or through or to a point where it say, hey, this guy, he gets it. He gets what we're going through. He gets what we're feeling, and he's fighting for us. Because many people don't have people to fight for them at
Mm,
all.
no.
And so to hear that backstory was like, wow. And plus, you gave me a little history, bro. I'm a history dude,
Yes, he
and
is.
so I was super quiet, like, what?
He
You
eating
know?
this up. Say what, man? They did what to the water? Like I was like, my
Yeah,
brother's eating this up
yeah.
right now.
I was eating it up. I really was, like, loved it. And for for the generation up under us, and oftentimes I had to sit this conversation. Those who are 30 and under, they don't have a point of reference. So when they hear me, you, anybody talk about the fights, the struggle, and they think they're okay because they're able to walk into certain restaurants, shop at certain places, and live in certain neighborhoods, and they think they have arrived, and not realize that there's still a fight and there's still a struggle, and there are
Mm.
still issues that are at hand that need to be addressed. Just because you can wear red bottoms now and you can shop at the Gucci's and the Louis Vuitton stores and all that doesn't mean anything. There are people who still struggling. There are people still fighting for you to even have a space for you to feel safe, for you to feel guarded, and so much more. And I love it. I mean, like, I'm in love with your vision, man. Like, I'm
Yes.
really in love with your vision. And I want to say this: when Joe told me about the road to Apollo, I said, the Apollo. She's like, yeah. I'm like, they still going? Like, I haven't heard any shows being at the Apollo in years. And I guess because I equated to, what they were showing on the television, and I haven't heard their name ring in a long time. And when Jonisha brought it up, I'm like, so the Apollo still got something still going on?
Well,
I really thought, I was a little impressed they were just renting out the building because I heard people having concerts there still, but that was it.
yeah. Well, they are a fully functioning theater, so they don't just do their events. It is a theater that they do rent out. They must generate revenue. But let me just say this about the tour in the Apollo Theater. Um, and, I have to speak my truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So don't care if it's American Idol, America's Got Talent, The Voice, The X Factor. You think you can dance, you think you can see Steve Harvey's Little Big Shots. They're all just cheap imitations of what's been going on in Harlem for the last 90 years.
I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
They were the original. We were very loyal to them. We could take our people anywhere, but they gave us our first break. And we're going to continue to make this tour about them, expanding their brand, expanding our brand. Now our brand is the Road to New York's Open Call Auditions, Road to New York National Talent Competition, the Road to the Apollo. That is our brand. And we're very honored to be able to take people there. But I never get it twisted. They're copies of what's been going on in Harlem, and the Harlem Renaissance. This Apollo Theater was part of it.
That's
Man.
it's my dream. Listen, we've been singing in the bottom of jump rope ends, pretending like we on Apollo for years. So I was just like, you say Apollo, I was excited just to be a part of something that was attached to the name. And I'm telling you, man, I just been in La La Land since then, just trying to work hard and get stuff together. And I'm like, what you think about this? And what you think about that? I'm going to change the song. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Because you just want to bring your A game. You want to be the best. And, for long time dreamers, like dream come true, I've always been an advocate for never give up. Never give up on your dream. Never give up. I don't care how hard it gets. I'm about to cry. What in the world is going on? Never give up, on your dream and what you're called to do because of situations. And, God chose me to like really be out front, even in my struggles and in my trials and my tests. So I choose to be out front with this too, just to prove that God can carry you through. And there is nothing that you can do to forfeit it. You just always yield to God what he tells you to do, and he will bring you through anything. So I'm just, amazed at the relationships that I'm gaining, at the opportunity. Like, this is big for me. This is big for me.
Well, we're extremely excited that you took your time on that Saturday to come out and audition and bless us with your talent. When Yahweh gives you a talent, He doesn't mean for you to keep it inside of you. He wants you to share it with the world. And let me
Absolutely.
tell the two of you how special you are to Yahweh. Okay, y'all ready for this? And this is something to think about. He took 7 days to create the world. He took 9 months to create us. Okay? So we're very special to him. He put more time into creating you and me and others than he did creating the entire world and the universe in its infancy. So
Wow.
that is just think about that. So uh, you're going to do well in this competition, and I know those are tears of joy. But you follow your dream. Stay focused. He has a plan for you. He has a plan for all of us. And for a long time, the demonic have controlled the narrative.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
these are different times. The world that we know has ended. This is a new normal, and things will never be the
It
same. So we have to
never.
embrace His designated will and stay on the path and believe in Him, believe in His Son. You know, uh, His Son is not that guy you see in churches with the long blonde hair.
What did I know you was gonna say that?
Very much aware. I thank God for great teaching and great leadership that
That's
let me
not
know.
Him.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to hear Him. And do y'all believe in angels?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Yeah.
they're real. They're very real, and I'm a big believer. I know they're real, and I know Yahweh and Yeshua is they're real, and so this tour wouldn't be happening without them. I wouldn't be on this podcast without them. Everything that you've done with mental health, he's grateful. He loves you for that. You will receive your blessings. Stay on the path. Continue doing what you're doing and uplift his people. Uplift perseverance scholarship is very important to him. And
Right.
so he thanks you. The angel thank you. I thank you. And Sunday's going to be great. The band is going to hype up the crowd before the show starts. They'll come up there, and that band is incredible. They're professionals, and they have to learn hundreds of songs in a given tour season. And I don't let them read music. I have professional people on that stage, and they can play anything. So they'll come up and get it revved up, and the pageantry that goes with the show. It's gonna People who are coming are gonna have a great time. They're gonna have a really great time, and we've gotten good at this. We've gotten very, very good at this. So we've been doing these shows since 2012, and it's 2022. So we're honored that it lasts that long. We set a record in North Carolina doing the most consecutive shows. We hold that record. Road to the
Wow.
Apollo.
Wow.
22 consecutive Sunday nights, packed.
Wow.
It got so good in Durham. Sometimes we tour in the South. The crowds are very polite and they don't want to boo a bad act. We went in Kinston 3 weeks ago to a sold out crowd, and they booed the first 5 acts.
Oh.
In Durham, we had people coming in made their own T-shirts that said, "We come to get our boo on."
Oh, that's serious. That's
Yeah,
serious.
it's gonna be a rough night. Well, them Durhamites or something else.
Mr. CJ, I have a question to ask you. Have you ever thought about expanding your brand to other states?
We do other states. We do. I outsource a bunch of shows. When we get to the Apollo, we probably have people there from as many as 17, 18 states. A lot of times I will outsource shows to fraternities or sororities or Eastern Star or other promoters, and we'll monitor how they do it. But we bring people from all over the country to the Apollo. So I don't make it to all the shows. And we're doing an abbreviated show. We haven't toured in 2 years because of COVID. So, but yeah, we go into other states. It's a
Man,
national tour.
it will be great to bring you to Tennessee. Now, I don't know how I can do that, but it will be awesome
Well, what part
thing.
of Tennessee you in? Because the mayor of Memphis about 4 years ago was really upset. He called Paul and said, "Hey, Captain always in North Carolina and the Eastern Seaboard, and we've been asking to come out here for 5 years, and they haven't come to Memphis yet, and we got all this talent." I was like, pay the expenses, and we will come.
Right. We no,
Right.
we I live in Northwest Tennessee. I live in a small town called Humboldt.
Okay.
Not too far. So we could live near Jackson. We call it the hub city because it's between Memphis and Nashville.
Okay.
So yeah, so Tennessee is full of talent. And one thing that I wish that a lot of people would get the recognition that they need. And I was just saying, it will be nice. If
We
we
would
can go
love.
that route one day.
We would come to Tennessee if everything lines up, and we can get good sponsorship out there. Putting on these shows are very expensive.
Yeah.
It's not a small high school talent show. There are a lot of expenses involved, and you're going to see a professional product. When you get there Sunday and see how well things are done. And so, but yeah, we've had calls from Chattanooga, from Nashville, Memphis, Knoxville, Tennessee. So we will eventually get out there. But again, the people that are calling, they have to understand, when we're going to these other states, each mayor has a office of special events and funds, and they got to go with those funds to bring us out there because it's too expensive for us to go that far and just do it on our own. They have
Yeah.
to sponsor facilities, they have to do transportation and hotel accommodations because we have to come out there with a small core staff and do auditions, and then come back to do a major production, and that takes time, effort, and money. So when we find organizations that we can work with, we either would go and do the shows ourselves, or we will teach them how to do the shows, and then that becomes part of our tour and part of our brand. But we're ever expanding, and when we find good ones, we keep them. And when we don't find good ones,
And I know that's true too. You can tell
yeah,
that is the truth, and I love it. I love the straightforward. It's like, hey, what let's do this. All right,
Yeah.
you good, but do this. So I love it because a lot of in show business, people be sugarcoating and doing some backhanded stuff. And so when you was like, don't sign any contracts, I'm like, because folks do stuff. They've been had you
Yeah.
sign something, and nothing is right. So
Right.
sign your music rights away. Prince signed his whole name away.
yes,
He didn't know he was
yes,
signed. So we try to educate them, and my line producers, one out of Miami, she does a good job talking with the contestants and giving them that information. Ray does a good job with the lineup. So when you get there, people will be there with their computer checking people in, and then we know that it can be a little nerve wracking for the contestants. So we loosen them up, we get them on stage, we let them introduce themselves to each other, and as each person is rehearsing with the band before the crowd comes in, we encourage them to clap because they're your competition, but they're not your enemy. They're your friends. So
right.
Yeah.
sometimes people do collaboratives, and we'll do other shows on their own together where people are inviting them to sing, and they hear one voice and another voice, and they say, "Hey, I want y'all to do this song," and they get work, and that's a good thing when you can get paid to sing or dance or whatever your talent is. Man, does that feel good?
Yes, it does. Oh, how I missed it.
Well, it's coming. It's coming. Speaking into existence. Just
Oh
speaking.
Yes.
yes,
Joe is
indeed.
definitely the singer, the artist of the family,
Yeah.
and we lean on her on that on every. I'm telling you and I'm not saying it because she's my sister. I have seen her work from dance. She was the dance teacher at her church, along with other people that assisted. But she can choreograph dance, she sings, she in so many other arenas. And so one of my thing was, and I told her, I said, and my other partner who was on here, which is her cousin, I said, look, I'm her
Hey,
biggest
Sissy
fan.
girl.
Yeah, I'm her biggest fan. Support her in everything that she do because I see the grace that's upon her life.
Yes.
And then when I recognize it, I support her. Her nieces, her nephews, everybody like, look, that's my TT. And when it comes to our family events, we're like, Joe, will you sing for us? Because not because we want to use her talent, it's because the grace on her life when she sings, she soothes your soul. And it made me think about David and Saul. Saul was vexed because his disobedience to God,
Yes.
and when David played on the instrument, he soothed Saul's soul. And that's what Jonisha voice do for a lot of situations and a lot of people. I mean, I've heard testimonies where she would just burst out singing at work, and a person came to her and be like, look, I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
You just don't know how much that blessed me. And I said that this is her time, and I'm there for it. I'm there for it. Look, all the way.
Absolutely. So we hope that she will have plenty of support because, judges and people like myself can put in the show, but the audience decides. So we need
Yeah.
people in these seats doing this. And
Got you.
have your people to make banners for you and posters. And it's going to be really festive Sunday. And the people are in for a treat. But we knew greatness had walked into, it's set up. There's a camera there are lights, there are microphones, there are judges in front, and it can be a little intimidating. She walked in and she did her thing, and we knew that was an anointed, great voice. And
Yes.
there was no question that she was going to be in this show. No questions.
It's one of the things you mentioned earlier as I was trying to get my computer together was the music therapy. And when I used to work, we used to work with adult, mentally and physically challenged adults. And one of the things I used to enjoy so much, and I told my brother, I said, we need to figure this out, this music therapy thing, because there was a young man that hadn't talked in 20 years, and I was singing to him, and he was repeating, and he had started talking. And so I knew it was something to it. So when you mentioned, I'm just tripped out about so much that you have said that we talk about all the time and are so connected. I'm just like, Lord, this is more than, this is something. Like,
Yeah.
this is something. Like, there's a connection with all that you say. It connects with everything that we do here, just in our personal lives. It's quite amazing right now.
I'm going to share one more story with you before I leave. So when we first started doing the shows, we had a veteran that we had on Suicide Watch. He gave away all his stuff. His room was dark all the time, and we were really worried about him. And his granddaughter made it into the show, little 9-year-old girl, little child prodigies, Whitney Houston, all the way. And he hadn't been out of that room to go anywhere in about 2.5 years. And he looked like a big guy too. Big, unruly hair, beard. I have a nephew. I tell him all the time he looks like one of the Taliban. But this guy was a big man and scary. But they got him to come to the show, and he enjoyed himself. They hadn't seen him laugh, and he really liked the Sandman. Sandman came out on one guy with boxing gloves on and a vacuum cleaner. And he started laughing. And this is real, and it's real touching. So I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to try not to cry about it, okay? But we got a call the next Sunday inquiring if we had another show, because they didn't really know. But the wife said that when they got up, and she said she got up with the kids about 7:30, she said there was this new man sitting in their living room who had shaved.
Wow.
He had cut his hair. He had on a suit.
Wow.
And she said he was sitting like this. He was like, I'm ready to go back to the Apollo.
Wow.
Wow.
So that brought him out of that dismal dismay. And if you only save one,
That's it.
then this whole thing has been worth its while, because we were worried about him. And it has such an effect on the staff when we lose someone to suicide, because every time we lose one, then we have staff that are emotionally involved and they quit because they can't handle that. Sometimes some of my staff have the need to care, and I'm like, okay, keep your personal feelings out of it, because sometimes they do leave us.
Yeah.
But that man was, and these veterans, and let me tell you something. When they're talking suicide, they're serious. they don't just talk the game. When they start making their plans to leave us, they do it if there's not the right intervention there. And Yahweh showed him that don't give up on me. And see, we're not federally funded. We're private.
Wow.
Our funds, we raise our funds, we make our funds, and we have a real big sponsor in PNC Bank. So we talk about Yahweh, we talk about God, and we tell them, I was like, okay, if you commit suicide, number one, I know things might be bad, but that is a very selfish thing to do to your family. And I said, and you're giving up on Yahweh. And I said, and that's one of the things he won't forgive you for. So if you commit suicide, you think your life's going to be better in the afterlife, but it's not. You're going straight to hell. And
That's the truth.
that resonates with some of them. You see the eyes get big. I said, yeah, you're going to hell.
I know he said it just like that too.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because they have to know. They have to know that nothing is so bad that you have to give up on Yahweh.
One thing I like about it is that you're offering a way of escape.
Yes.
And so my cousin who's on the live right now, Jerry Wardlow, let me read his statement. He said, veterans have been through a lot. The training they give us is crazy. And I have dated someone that was in the military, and the stories that she came back and she told me, the things that they have experienced, war is not beautiful. It's not at all. The training is crazy. And I salute any veteran who decides to
Yes.
sacrifice their life for ours, for our freedom,
Yes.
and all of that. For us to have the ability to have our opinion, whether our opinion is crazy or not. But I salute them heavily.
Yes.
And so giving them an avenue, like I said earlier, most people don't feel like they have a voice or someone to listen. And I salute you, man, for giving
Yes.
the veterans a voice. Your yes to Yahweh, once again, has
Yes.
definitely given them a platform. And I appreciate you to the fullest.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And, have the opportunity for our show to go into 42 million homes across the country gives us a big platform. And it gives the contestants a big platform, because sometimes we get people who a producer or a promoter or whatever will see a person on our show and they'll go, hey, Captain, who's the lady in the blue dress that sang Etta James at last? And
My favorite song.
yeah, once they leave the Apollo, we'll turn them up, because we don't hold anybody back. We're about opportunities. And, it's no such thing as love opportunities, where preparation and opportunity meet. That's the corner. It's not
Yes.
love. That's what it is. Yeah. Y'all received that from me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, man. Yes, yes.
All right.
This has definitely been a great conversation, and I want to once again give an applause to Mr. CJ Newburn for coming on the Conversation Podcast, sitting on the couch with us and having this conversation that wasn't just about Apollo. He talked about mental health and
Man.
the veterans, sexual abuse that happened with female soldiers.
And it
My
happens.
grandma said he put some fat on her head.
Yeah. It happens to males too.
Yes, it definitely happened. As a matter of fact, I was listening to I think it was on YouTube one day, and they was talking about sexual abuse that happens in the military and how it goes. Like, people don't listen to it. It's just dismissed and all that. But thank you for being that voice. We do appreciate you. Look, we got to have you back on here again, man. Are you up for that? You up for that? Yeah, I enjoyed you. Man. You definitely flow. You blessed me. Like,
Man.
look, we got to talk, bro. Again.
I told you.
Thank you.
Look, I knew you was cool. I knew you was cool on the backstage before the show started, and we were just having that little couple of seconds of conversation, and you was very down to earth, man. Appreciate you. Hats off to you. We thank God for Mr. CJ Newburn joining on our show. Like I said earlier, if you would like to donate to us, sponsor us, give to us, support, so all those verbiage, all of that. $sign Real Image. Yes, sir.
Yep. Let me put in a plug for the show before I go. The show is this Sunday, the 21st of August. We'll start on time at 5:00, because we're doing TV production. Doors open at 4. Get there early. Get you a good seat.
All right.
It's going to be a blast, and you come back next year when we come back through.
Yes,
All right.
sir. sure.
What's
I
good?
think we
Thank
got
you.
that flyer. Don't know we got that flyer on here,
I,
right?
what had
It's
happened was
somewhere. Hmm.
it got erased somehow. I don't know how it got erased. It just
But it
disappeared.
is on our page. You guys can go on our page. The flyer is
Yes,
there. I have been sharing. You can go on my page. Please, by all means, those that cannot make it, please keep us in your prayers. By all means. We are about to sign off and we appreciate each and every one of you guys. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. We do have a YouTube page, you guys. I need you. And don't forget 360 Live Radio, Vision Radio. We are
Vision
on
Radio.
there.
Yes,
Come on,
yes.
y'all. We are any artist. If you know of any artists that have music that they want played, they do get royalties for getting played on our radio station. Please, by all means, sing your music. And we will play it. We will play it and make sure
We
it
will.
gets in the rotation. We are just so grateful for all the opportunities that's going on. Darnay, you have anything else before I pray?
Oh, that's it. Go ahead.
All right, we're going to pray. God, I honor you and I thank you for all the things that you are doing in the earth. I thank you for this divine connection that you are connecting right now. I pray over each and every person on this live tonight and those that will press the replay. God, I pray, God, for a supernatural grace to be upon them to work out the day. There are no daily struggles. There are only necessary tasks to go through the day. And God, we thank you that they have supernatural strength and energy to get through the day. God, we honor you. I send ministering angels to each and every one of them. You know the things that they have up before you even now. God, we say, do it. Do it like you never. Blow their minds, oh God. We honor you and we glorify you for these glory portals even now. We ask you to bless Mr. CJ and all his endeavors, oh God. We thank you, oh God, that he taps into a God revenue that he will never lack for anything. Money will always find him to do what is necessary. We thank you that he operates in the government of heaven and there is no lack in his life. We glorify you that everything he set his hands to do, it will be blessed. Everywhere his feet tread, it shall be favored by him. God, we thank you for the glory portal that he is, and we honor you in the name of Jesus. We pray, amen, and thank God.
Amen.
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 Yes,
See
beautiful.
you all next Friday at 7 p.m. here on the Conversation Podcast, aka The
Hey,
Couch.
the
We love you
couch.
guys. We thank you, good people. Peace and out.
Peace out.